You're watching the Wellness Hour, news that makes you healthier. I'm Randy Alvarez. Today's topic, extreme smile makeovers. We're talking about what dentists call full mouth rehabilitation. According to my first guest, he says no matter that your teeth are never too bad, your gums are never too bad to have the smile you've always wanted. With us, we have an expert on the topic. In fact, he is South Carolina's go-to dentist. We have Dr. Nathan Faber. Dr. Faber, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
You brought a stack of photos, so we'll get to as many of those as we can, and these are all those full mouth cases. But for people that don't know your practice, like who's the typical, this full mouth reconstruction, as you call it, give us a working definition. What is it? That kind of a thing.
The people that typically walk in the door are looking to get things fixed. You know, they've had some chronic issues, whether cavities or failing crowns or, you know, just the typical dental stuff that you hear from your friends, or a toothache or whatever. And they come in and we get them fixed. And that's kind of a broad definition of what we do, but we get their smile back.
So this full mouth rehabilitation, does that, what defines that, like in your world?
Full mouth rehabilitation is that it's not working well, and we get it working right. We take care of these people that have had this patchwork, this kind of hodgepodge of dentistry over the years. This hurts, they get this fixed. They get hurt. This hurts, they get this fixed. So pretty soon you have this patchwork quilt of dentistry. And when we talk about full arch rehabilitation, is that we look at everything, not just one specific problem. So we look at the upper jaw and lower jaw and get them back and fixed.
Okay, good. You know, I know you do, dental implants, you do cosmetic dentistry. In fact, you've made quite a name for yourself, is that right? As a cosmetic dentist.
Yeah. I don't ever think of myself as that guy, but when you have people coming in and you're fixing their entire smile in their mouth and they are throwing that label on you, it's humbling. It really is. And it's kind of a point of pride, but it's nice that when people walk in the door, and are expecting great results, and you give it to them.
Now, tell me this, because your center is unique in the way, I guess, that you kind of do it all right there. Like what typically, and you told me this, what typically might take several specialists or several doctors, you do it all right there. Can you expand on that or elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's really great. I spent a lot of time in Alaska before I moved down to South Carolina, and there weren't any specialists there. The nearest specialist to me was 400 miles by air, 300 miles by air, or sometimes 600 miles by air to do a root canal and stuff like that. So when you're in Alaska, you do everything under one roof.
So you had to learn all that.
You had to learn it all, and a lot of education and a lot of OJT, a lot of on-the-job training.
Because you travel all over the place.
Yeah, a lot
to learn.
Yeah, traveling all the place. I love going down to Southern California and getting my cosmetic training and getting those stuff. Closer you are to Hollywood, the better Hollywood smile you can give them. So it's that under one roof is like a lot of dentists in our town and a lot of practices. You come in with a toothache. Well, sure, we have a toothache. We diagnose that. You already knew you had a toothache and you needed a root canal.
Okay.
But you go to the dentist to go to the endodontist, or you go to the dentist to go to the oral surgeon to get the tooth taken out. You come to my office, we'll get that root canal done.
You do it right there.
Yeah.
Plus you have your own lab. Is that why you do things so quickly?
Yeah,
like
we have our own
lab. You kind of
lab.
make teeth there?
Yeah, we have a full digital lab. We have our own mills. We have 3D printers. Yeah, the 3D printers.
What do you mean mills? So the mills make the teeth?
Yeah, they
like
mill
the
them out. Yeah,
and...
they make the crowns and everything. It's actually spectacular. It's the mill. You look at it and you're like, wow, this is 2022. This is.
Most guys don't have that stuff?
No, most guys don't have that. We have very, very good mills, or Zirconzon mills. They're out of.
Is it true also digital printers that like print and make teeth?
Yeah, the digital printers are the coolest thing I've ever seen in dentistry in my 25 years of starting dentistry. It's you design it on the computer screen, you press print, 45 minutes later you have a tooth, or you have a bridge, and you're done. You clean it up, you get it ready, polish it up, and you can deliver it that day.
So is that why? And it can be less expensive too, because you do it all right there.
Yeah,
less guys to pay.
Yeah, and the old adage, time is money. is very, very true. And we take less time to do more stuff. So that savings gets passed on.
You're
to the
big on
patient.
sedation as well.
Yes, a lot of patients that come in are scared. They don't want all this stuff, and we do oral sedation or IV sedation, and it's really great that they're there for that long appointment. Everything's done. They don't remember much, and the next day they have their new smile and they're happy for their post-op, and they're like, "Doc, how was it?" I was like, "You tell me, how's it look?" And they're
Like they have no memory of even
no memory of it being done. It's pretty wild.
Now the fact that, because this is like the new breed of dentist, where a general dentist learns all of these things. I was telling you, the oral surgeon was telling me, Randy, they're called super dentists, super specialists, even though it's not a recognized specialty.
Right.
But this is what is happening. This is like the newer trend in dentistry. Your technology, I want to ask you, if they took it away, would that make your life miserable? Like, meaning if you had to practice like most dentists without all the stuff in-house?
I don't know how I do it anymore. I really don't. I don't know how the other guys do it. Was it hard? Was it a lot of education? Was it a lot of travel to learn how to do those things? But it's once you go there, you can't go back.
Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's going from your old tube TV to your flat screen TV. It's just
It's that much better.
It's
And you have a sense of humor about it. We should mention.
maybe
Right? Do
Yeah.
the patients, you break down. Do you have a one-liner, like when they say, do you ever hear this? "No offense, doctor, I just don't like the dentist." Does that ever come up?
Oh, quite often, and I'm like, good. I don't like myself either sometimes. So, and I'll joke with them. I was like, wow, you're in agreement with my wife.
Now, do you have a secret competitive nature about you? Because I know you played football and things like that and wrestled, where you're going, I'm going to win them over.
Yeah, it's a challenge to me as having friends and family that have been dental phobic and they're no longer dental phobic. It is a challenge, and it's relationship building and getting things done and doing what you say you're going to do. And it's hard. It's a challenge, and I have a very, very competitive spirit, and that drives me to do the best dentistry I can every day.
Okay, good. Now you brought photos. Let's take a look at some of these. And for people just tuning in, we're talking about extreme smile makeovers, people with bad teeth, bad gums, full mouth reconstruction. So what are we looking at?
Oh, so I brought, started as a patient, but now a good family friend.
Okay.
My daughter's call her Aunt Vicky now. So
That's nice.
yeah, so it's really nice. And here's you can have a look at Vicky's before here.
Oh, wow. Now that's pretty bad. That's got to be unusual to have teeth like that.
No, you'd be surprised. I mean, you don't see those smiles because everybody just looks grumpy. No,
They don't smile.
Yeah, that grumpy Gus you're looking at is probably looks just like that underneath those lips.
Can you spot it around town? Like you could tell who's hiding their teeth?
Yeah, you really can. It's like whether or not somebody has a flashlight on in a dark room. Somebody has a flashlight, they have a good smile. You can see that in a dark room. The people that don't, you
just can't see it.
Yeah, you just can't. Yeah.
So what was going on with her teeth? And kind of what'd you do?
So with Vicky, she came in years and years of not neglect, but just a really hard time. A car wreck started a lot of this 20 years ago, and I hear this a lot. There's a traumatic event, and then things just drip to this point right here, and they can't take it anymore. She couldn't eat or chew very well. Just drinking, eating, those function things. And with her gag reflex, she couldn't have anything removable or anything like that because she couldn't keep it in her mouth.
Okay.
It was just horrible. And, the depression, not feeling herself, who she really is, was a real thing with her. Now look at that after. It's absolutely amazing. I couldn't be happier with the results. Vicky couldn't be happier with the results. With this, the backstory on this is she came in, she'd actually won some money in a casino, and and booked a cruise and wanted to be able to eat all the stuff on the cruise ship and smile and be herself. And we were able to accommodate that in a very, very short amount of time, that without our digital workflow and the things that we do now, we wouldn't have been able to do that, a few years ago.
What's it like when she looks in the mirror for the first time?
I hesitate to say this because it's just, I'm a big guy and everything like that. And the thing that describes this the most is tears.
Okay.
And it usually puts tears in my eyes to see them so happy and a reflection of who they think they've always been. And to see their eyes looking into that mirror and looking at that smile, and just they'll look at it and they'll sit there, and then all of a sudden they smile a little bit, they smile bigger, and then the smile, the reveal.
Wow, that's nice.
The curtains come back, and it's just, it's a moment. Like I try to get the assistants not to let them have a mirror until I'm in there and that I can see
good.
them look at it, and it just, because to be there for that moment is one of the most profound things that I get to do.
You say you see personality changes.
Oh, it's funny. Actually, I caught a patient the other day, older patient, single guy, and he was texting. He didn't even know I was in the chair. I got behind him and I had to tap him on the shoulder, and he goes, "Well, you caught me." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Got a date tonight." Nice. and to see that and to know where he was, 6 months ago, that text conversation would have never happened.
So the self-confidence goes way up.
Oh, it blooms. You can just them walking down the hallway, in the waiting room, how they greet the staff when they come in. It's pretty amazing.
Now, for people on tight budgets, we should mention you make your own dentures right there.
Yep, we sure
right?
do.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
They're like, are they better fitting? Do they look better than the dentures of the past?
Very few places you can go in at our office, and we typically don't advertise it for dentures in a day, but we can, if pressed for time. But our lab guys are 20 feet away, not 20 miles, not 200 miles, not across the country, not overseas. Our lab guys are right there, and we get it done right. And if you don't like it or what's going on, you're talking to the guy that's making it.
Okay.
And it's that those issues are fixed real time.
Wait, did you tell me that because it's done on a computer, that if the denture breaks or any problem, you just press a button and print another pair?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, we can do that. If we have it digitally scanned and everything like that, we can do it. I had a patient in last month, and he loved his old denture. It just wasn't fitting well. It fit his bite. He's to say he's a pretty important person. He is a really important person. He helps U.S. government find deuterium.
Okay.
That's a big deal. And he didn't have a lot of time to sit around and do things. So we're like, hey, let's do this. Let's take an impression. Let's scan your old denture, and we can print you out a new one today or tomorrow. And he's like, no way. I'm like, yeah way. And we printed that thing out, and it fits like a glove, and it's amazing.
I said at the beginning of the show, according to my first guess, your teeth or gums are never too bad to have the smile you've always wanted. Do you believe that?
Very true. Very, very true.
But if you have bad gums, what are you going to do? I mean, how are you going to be able to take like a single tooth implant or a crown or a veneer? I mean,
with anything, if you're going to build it, you got to build it right, and you got to start with a good foundation. And you got to get that bacterial infection that's in your gums cleaned up.
So you do that?
Yeah, we do that. Our hygienist, Catherine, is an expert at it. She's very, very wonderful, gentle, nice, and knows how to get it taken care of.
Okay.
With minimal complaints from the patients.
Good for you. Another photo.
Okay. Here we have Eleanor, and I'll give you her before. And
oh boy.
Yeah, and this is a really, really special story to me. So imagine at 10, 12 years old, getting your front teeth knocked out by your brother and spending your entire adult life having to deal in high school and junior high without your front teeth in years and years ago, before dentistry is what it is today. That's Eleanor. She went for years with this. she took care of her family. She took care of her kids. She's taking care of her grandkids, taking care of her great grandkids now, who gets to visit us every once in a while. Right? But the thing is that to see her so happy, and
she looks good on this after.
It's wonderful.
What do they like more, the way it looks or what they could eat?
Eleanor looks, form and function. You know, it looks great and it works great with her. And if it's by any indication of how much food she brings us to the office every time she visits, it's probably the function. But she's always bringing us snacks and stuff like that for her appointments and stuff like that. It's really, really neat. You know, quite often I'll have a mid-50s male, married, happily married, and I'll say, hey, what's important to you? And he'll be like, oh, I'm married. I want to be able to eat better. You know, that's function.
Okay.
But what's really funny is that mid-50s guy that we've changed the form and function, he's the happiest, the most brightest smile walking into the office.
He likes the way it looks.
Loves the way it looks, you know? Like, put the mirror down, dude. Stop. You know, we got other patients, you know, that kind of thing. That's always the fun part. Like, oh, I just want to eat better.
Are they putting selfies on Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, that's the funny, like a patient I talked about earlier, you know, texting and, you know, I mean, taking selfies in the dental chair, really? Yeah. I see it all the time. And, you know, I used to be annoyed by the technology and stuff like that. And then I realized, wait, these people are coming out of their shell. They're happy.
That's good.
They're showing things off. And
you know, I said in the green room, it's just teeth. And I think those are like fighting words to you. It's more than just teeth, you say.
Yeah, just teeth. It's like, yeah, it's just tires on a car. Really? You got to have it, you know, and you got to have your teeth. You got to have your smile, because there's study after study after study after study is one of the biggest things people look at you is your smile.
Now, I know I'm going to rush you a little bit because we're short on time and you have a stack of photos.
Oh, yeah, well, here's Brian. He, you know, I heard him say to one of my assistants one time that he was like a turtle before he got this done. And I was like, what is this? What turtle?
Like a turtle.
And he's like a turtle. He's like, yep, I was always in my shell, Doc. I was always in my shell. And now, you know, I'm out of my shell and I'm not a turtle anymore. And, you know, and it's funny, when I first met him and gave him his consult, you know, he's got this gruff face on and, you know, he's nervous and everything like that. And now he's coming up like, hey, Doc, what's going on? You know, it's a pleasure to see him.
So you just do this with a combination of procedures?
Yes, combination.
And they're numbed up, they have sedation?
Yep, numbed up.
You say they have almost no memory of the whole situation?
Yeah, but Brian couldn't tell you a single thing I've done to him.
Okay.
That's what I love about sedation dentistry. For years, I was just like, you know, people can tough it out. And then you think about it like, why do you have to tough it out? Why do you have to traumatize yourself and go through these things? And you don't. You know, you can get sedation and get things done and, you know, block off half a day or a day of work and we can get these things done. It's exceptional. Rather than 45 appointments to do 25 things, we can do one appointment.
Does that happen?
Not in our office.
Only because you have the in-house lab and you have that unfair advantage in a way.
Yeah. You know,
printers, things that make teeth right there.
Yeah, the advanced training, the weekends away from the wife and family. You know, those things enable us to be able to do those things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see a few more.
Okay. This is Melody.
Oh boy.
Consequently, we talked about Vicky. She is a referral from Vicky, and there's no greater compliment than when people you've worked on are sending their friends and acquaintances to come see you to get their, you know, like they see their friend's new smile. They're like, hey, what's the secret sauce?
Okay.
You know, and they're like, hey, I know we're 2 hours away. Go see Dr. Faber.
Because they're traveling to see you.
Yeah, they're traveling, you know.
But in a way, it's a time saving if you're able to do things sometimes in just 3 visits.
Yeah,
like a full extreme makeover.
Yeah, and that's really, really nice that they can come in and we can get a lot of stuff done. And that, you know.
So what did you do for her?
Well, we did full upper and lower reconstruction on her. Take a look at the after.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Looks younger.
Yeah, and it's incredible. And that was done that day. Yeah, she came in looking like that, and that's her final, that's her provisional. You know, people with bad teeth, they can't eat things, and something that patients have told me, and I've really taken to heart, is they're like, Doc, when I go to the restaurant, I get to pick what I want to eat, not what I can eat. And I'm like, what? And they'll be like, Doc, do you ever leave a piece of lettuce hanging after you bit down on a sandwich? I'm like, no. They're like, exactly. You don't know what we're talking about. I was like, I can go.
So they get their new, combination of procedures, and they're eating whatever the heck they want.
Yeah, whatever the heck they want.
Instead of what can they eat in front of my friends?
Yeah, and some people are better. It's them telling stories about going to Hall's Chop House and having a steak for the first time in years. That's really, really cool. Not that Hall's has great soft meat, good steaks, but for them to feel confident enough to go out to a high-end steakhouse and eating that kind of meal is, awesome.
We joked about it in the green room that the most expensive part of this whole thing is going out to eat all the time.
Yeah, it is, and I almost tell my patients jokingly all the time, I was like, I probably need to start, maybe getting a weight gain waiver on these things, because after I don't want to get sued for people gaining weight because they're eating so much and enjoying so much food. And when they're eating the food, spending money on the food, going other places to eat food, and then all of a sudden after they've had all these meals, they're like, well, wait a second, what about vacations? And I can go vacation and eat food now. So these things really, they just kind of snowball.
A couple more photos.
Okay. This is one of our younger patients that we've rehabbed recently, and it's near and dear to my heart, and that's her before.
Oh wow! Oh boy!
She came in, and I'll try to mimic her, and she was just the whole time, her and her husband, and we're talking, and husband's joking and trying to get her to laugh and smile, but she won't break character and won't show her smile hardly at all. Ever since she had her baby, her teeth had just been bad. And you hear stories about that as dentists, you're like, oh yeah, whatever. Well, this is one of those real life stories. And it was just terrible, and to see that. And we were able to get her in a couple of appointments to just a gorgeous smile. And I just saw her the other day, and it was funny because she's just sitting in the chair, and I usually try to come around and look the patient in the face and say hi before we get started and stuff like that. And she's gone from, resting cranky face to resting smiling face, because she was just grinning, sitting in the dental chair. And to see that transformation as a dentist from where they're happy and they're smiling at the dentist before I even get started is pretty special. And to help her out and give her smile back. So I want you to have a look at Nadine here.
All right.
This is her before. Her case was really, really straightforward, but when patients come in, they're like, how are they going to fix this? How are they going to do this? Well, don't worry about that. That's what we do. I'm not giving my mechanic when I drop my car off. I'm like, well, which wrench are you going to use, and how are you going to do this, and what? No, trust the process. We know what we're doing. And we get this.
Is that how most people are, though, Doc? Just
Yeah. They're trying to figure out how we're going to do it. You don't have to figure it out.
Because they are skeptical.
Yeah, they're super skeptical. Yeah,
saying, I don't think so. Are you sure you can do this?
Yeah, and I'm like, and quite often I'm like, well, you know what? I just got it done. That's why you're waiting on me.
Okay.
On somebody else, and look at that. Look at that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
People with bad teeth are judged.
Unfortunately, yeah. It's a big deal. I remember, I'll give you a story. Is one of my older brother's friends from high school came and visited me at work. I was playing football, and my brother was running a feed store. So I was playing college football, and so he decided that a good job for me over the winter, over winter break, would be, hauling 50-pound sacks of feed in the feed store, which is great.
Okay.
So, and his buddy comes up to me, and he'd put in some of those Bubba teeth, and I haven't seen
Like the fake clip-in teeth,
fake
or whatever?
clip-in Bubba teeth. And keep in mind, I hadn't seen him in 8-9 years, and he comes up to start talking to me, and before I know it, I'm backing away from him, like this little guy, and I'm just backing away and this is before dental school, this is before college, and I'm like, oh my God, what has happened to him? And he pulls that out, and then he's joking with me, and I was ashamed of myself for being that judgmental on that when he was just playing a joke. But
like those teeth they sell at Halloween stores.
The Halloween stores, but it was a really good set. And, and that stuck with me, all the way through my dental education of how I perceived him. One of my brother's older friends, one of the guys I looked up, he was a Division I athlete in track, and who one of my heroes as a kid looked like that. And I was, almost ashamed of my reaction. And it was just a smile, same old guy, and it's just, those little pearls you pick up in life, and that's one of them.
We're out of time, and I know you have more photos. They can find these on your website, but final message to a patient with really bad teeth and gums. They don't know if anything can be done. They've heard what you have to say, but they're still skeptical. What do you say?
Give us a call.
Okay.
And I always tell my patients that are really phobic and really scared to come in that they are the bravest people I know, because that fear that they have and the bravery that they have to call and to come see me is one of the hardest steps in their life. And make that call. Come see us.
They get to see you?
Yeah, they see me. Yeah, and I don't tooth shame. That's I saw a billboard years ago in Texas, and it was Joe Bob.
You told me that on the phone, by the way. You
Yeah.
don't tooth shame. So what you mean by that is you don't make them feel guilty for the condition their teeth are in?
We all know what happens. Life happens.
You say it's like a bacterial infection.
Bacterial
they can't
infection.
brush it out or
yeah,
floss
yeah.
it out.
I mean, some people they're predisposed to this, and quite often they go to the dentist and they get yelled at. Well, nobody wants to go get yelled at for what they already know they haven't done right. It's like when I was younger and I chewed snuff. I didn't like going to dentists because I would get this big giant lecture. What I tell my patients that use tobacco? Quit or don't. But you know the risk. Yep. Okay. And that's the end of the conversation.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for you. So, do they make an appointment? Do they go online, or you just have them call your office?
Several ways. You can you can make the appointment online through our website, or more importantly, just give us a call.
Okay.
And if we're not there, leave a message, and we will call you back.
All right, Dr. Faber, great stuff. Thanks for coming on the program.
Appreciate it, Randy. Thank you.
You've been watching the Wellness Hour, news that makes you healthier. I'm Randy Alvarez. For now, I wish you good health.